Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Netflix's original animated series, Maya and the Three. Have you heard of this? Have you been looking out for it? Are you excited to see it? Comes out Friday, tomorrow, so depending on whenever you're watching this review, let me know in the comments if you're excited, but for now, let's jump in. A Mesoamerican warrior princess embarks on a quest to recruit 3 legendary fighters to help save the world of gods and humankind. The creator of this series describes this series as a Mexican funny Lord of the Rings. And talking about the creator, if you were to look at the animation style of this, you'd be like, this reminds me of that one film called The Book of Life. And if you're wondering about that, that's the same creator, so that's probably why it's reminding you of that. It's 9 episodes long. They range from 26 minutes to 45 minutes apiece. It is a massive epic. It feels like a big journey that you go on. And I have to say, I absolutely loved this series. I was so involved with the characters, amazingly involved. I definitely had a few tears in my eyes, just down the side of my cheek, kind of going like that towards the latter half, and at the end it was less so tears but just like really just smiling, going, wow, I never expected this to be as big as it was. The draw of this series is obviously going to be for a younger demographic, but I also think adults are absolutely going to love this series. Families that love something different, something unique, the art style itself. If you love the Book of Life, it's definitely leaning more into that Mayan, similar to that. It's all going to be very reminiscent of that, very vibrant in color, grand big battles, but really concentrating on character development. And that is what I love about this series. Most of the episodes start with not a previously, but on a character, a flashback. It really gets you involved with a punch in the gut of how tragic each of their life stories has been. And so you have that little background story, and then it goes into that episode, which is going to be about them. And so we have this traveling journey as we pick up more characters to defeat the big bad, the MacGuffin. We have this main character, Maya, who is a part of 2 worlds. She needs to find 3 warriors that are able to defeat the big bad that's going to come and kill and destroy everything she knows and loves. And along the way, the characters that she picks up of the 3 warriors that she needs are quite young, inexperienced, and have baggage of their own. And so they need to learn something. So you have your characters learning something about themselves. I mean, the themes it tackles are dark, which is why I think adults are going to really enjoy this. They don't shy away from that Disney rule about the parents, that generally aren't any parents because of something dark that has happened in the past. You kind of get to see that in this series. They're not shying away from kind of dealing with death. So if you have really young ones and you were thinking of maybe just letting them watch it by themselves, I would think maybe that you should watch this with them. I think it is a PG, but that is parental guidance. It was dark and darker in places, and I was like, no, in some of the places, because I really had grown to kind of really like some of those characters, and I wanted them to be more around. So don't expect this series just to be that kind of Hollywood cliche where everybody has plot protection. You don't actually know who's going to survive. You think you know who's going to survive. The length that the creator's willing to go to kind of shake things up a bit, give you something that you're not quite used to. Seeing a bunch of humans fight against gods, it already feels like you're the underdog, and what they have to overcome in themselves and what they have to be at the end to even stand a chance. You have all these themes that they're learning. Some of the characters I love as well. I'll always lean to animals myself. There's a panther that has an arc of his own. He has to learn something. There's a PTSD storyline there for him that I loved. There's always the characters that are connected to each other, that comes full circle, that is intertwined into the main story arc. It just feels like this is a really polished series. And then you get the score, which is just so epic. Feels adventurous. The horns, the instruments, everything lends itself to adventure, which is exactly what you want for this colorful journey that you're going on. It feels very much like Mount Doom and Lord of the Rings. Our characters are going to have to get something and defeat something at a volcano epic masterpiece battle. Like, you have those epic battles, and then you have the epic battle at the end, and that's exactly what you want. Everything leads up to that conclusion, and there's not like an end credit sequence. This is a limited series, a one and done, so you can go in this knowing that there's not going to be a cliffhanger. You're not going to have to wait for ages. You might be slightly disappointed because you so love this world that you were immersed in, but then you can just go and watch it again and look at some of the background characters that you might have missed, or some of the quirky lines. So for every time it's dark, it's also quite funny. There's also some risque jokes for the adults that might go over the younger kids' heads. There are a few character designs that reminded me of other animated series. The God of War character mask with these two skulls that kind of goes left and right. There were times that his character design reminded me a lot of Aku from Samurai Jack. It's just something that I kept noticing. I don't think it was on purpose. I just think, yeah, that there's similarities, and I love Aku from Samurai Jack, so it's not a bad thing. You're so immersed that I kept wanting to stop and like kind of absorb what I'd seen, but I kept putting on the next episode because I was like, well, this is really good. I'm surprised at how good this is. Like, I'm an adult, I'm a 40-year-old dude enjoying this animation series, and just shows you that animation has a level of understanding in its creativity that is able to reach many demographics. So just because it's animation, I know a lot of people have this understanding. I've had some comments before, it's like, you're a grown man, why are you watching animation? Review something of substance. There is a lot of substance in this series. So yes, there is a lot of animation action for the younger demographic, and I'm not saying that the younger demographic don't understand the deeper meanings. You probably might see things that I don't pick up, but for the adults, there's definitely those themes that you're going to relate to: parenthood, love, what is family. All of that is really touched in really nice ways when it's giving us the backstories and what you're willing to fight for. What should you be fighting for? And it's so well crafted and edited. And I just want to talk about one bit of the editing and give you an idea of how their creativity hasn't been put aside because of the story that they wanted to put in this story. Many moments, but it's not overused, that you have the series is, you think it's in a certain bar. You're watching it at the cinema, like it has the black bars top and bottom, and you think that's on purpose, that's just the shape. But every now and again you'll see your characters just kind of reach out over the screen, or there'll be a dust floating out over those bars, and it's a way to make you think that what you're watching it's in 3D without messing your eyes, without having to watch it in 3D, without it having to be 3D, but it looks like it's another step in immersiveness. So you have those moments. I don't know if you've ever watched Avatar and you watch that first bit where the trees are burning and you have those fires, those sparks, the embers kind of floating into. It feels like that without it actually being 3D. You'll pick it up. There'll be a couple of times like, wow, that was so, and how did they do that? And then you're realizing that they're fighting sometimes out in the double black lines in the bars. And I was thinking along the lines, like, is this meant to be 3D? And I had to go and research and check. It's like, no, this is the way they've purposely created. It's a way to immerse you further into the story, kind of make those characters pop out and come out of the screen, make them feel more alive. And I just thought it was a fantastic use of a very clever skill that a lot of people don't use. I hope it's not going to be overdone now like the Dutch or the shaky cam, but it's just a technique that I thought was so clever. I really loved how they did that, and I just want to say well done to the creators, whoever came up with that idea. Brilliant way to make us more immersed. I'm going to give this 5 Nicolas Cages out of 5. There was no time that it was clock watching. I didn't want it to be shorter. I haven't even touched on the voice actors, which are phenomenal. You can go and check them out on IMDb, from big Hollywood blockbuster stars to veteran voice actors when it comes to animation. Probably my favorite animated series I've watched this year. Who was your favorite character? Did you shed a tear? Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.